Hi everyone, it's James here. Welcome back to Squeeze Fan TV, the world's only daily Squeeze vlog. And today I've got my Frank t-shirt on, a little bit tighter than it used to be. This comes from the the tour that I saw them on in 1989, Lancaster University. So I thought today we would look at a song from the Frank album, and it is the great Melody Motel. And this has long been a favourite of mine. It's a wonderful song. It's fast, it's fluid, it's effervescent, it's wonderfully written. It's like a little movie. Quite a dark story at the heart of the song, even though the music is upbeat, happy sounding, deceptively happy. If you didn't listen to the lyrics, you wouldn't really guess that it was that it had a dark story. Almost like a sort of Alfred Hitchcock kind of story, really. Great guitar work from Glenn. It's got that really sort of fast, deft kind of country style guitar playing. You've got some accordion work on there, and some great bass playing from Keith Wilkinson. Glenn's in fine voice. I mean, what's not to like about this song? It's just absolutely fantastic. Let's see what Chris and Glenn have to say about it in song by song. Let's hope they don't hate it. That can sometimes happen. Okay, so Chris says it was influenced by the Louvin brothers, and they were a vocal act who were around in the 1950s. I have a couple of their records, actually. Yeah, he says they were forerunners of the Everly Brothers. They wrote very clever songs about the horrible things that went on in small town America. One of their songs was called Knoxville Girl. I've not heard that one, which is about a girl who gets drowned in the river. I wanted to tell a story that was like that, an American story, rather than an English story. I dreamt up Melody Motel, which was a place where there was open prostitution, where men could drive up, get a key to a room, and when they got in the room, there would be a girl in there. In this story, one of the girls is murdered. Chris was so literary, wasn't he? He could just pick up these stories from anywhere, you know, film-type stories or things from books. I know he was influenced, wasn't he, early on by Jacques Brel, who was quite a novelistic songwriter, but he could just do that storytelling thing so well. Glenn says, I love this song. Phew. I think we successfully made it sound like a genuine country record as opposed to a pastiche. Chris's lyric was really seedy and lurid and reminds me of an American tabloid story. And then he says, actually, I was pretending to be Elvis Presley's guitarist, Scotty Moore. It's quite interesting. I had in mind the riff that he would play as Elvis left the stage. Jules was playing a Bo Diddley part on the piano. So Bo Diddley would have been that kind of dan, 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 which slotted together well with Matt. That was Matt Irving, of course, who was the accordion player and second keyboard player, which they brought in the 80s. There's a brilliant solo from Jules. There is indeed. I forgot to mention that piano solo. Although I moaned about him not being in the studio very often, when he was there, he really did the business. By far and away, this is my favourite album with Jules in the band. I would totally agree with that. I think, you know, Jules did some great work on the early albums, but often he was playing the organ. There's not that many songs where he really shows off on the piano, really, on those first three albums. You know, maybe on some level he knew that he was leaving the band and he just wanted to go out on a big final hurrah. Anyway, before I finish, let's just do a quick deep dive into the lyric, because I know we all love this one. He drove up to the motel in his town and country car. He watched the working women with the field hands from the farm. He walked into the lobby with his pleased to see you smile, scribbled onto the register his fictitious name, and smiled. The footsteps of a young girl came tapping along the hall. The outline of his features was shadowed on the wall. She stood a little nervous, half lit by the neon light that flashed in many colours through the darkness of the night. The skin on his face, like a well-worn saddle, smiled as he said goodnight. At the Melody Motel, it was business as usual as the girls wiped the tears from their eyes. His shirt lay by his bedside, his jeans down by his feet. She swallowed hard and mumbled with the key between her teeth. On went the television, the picture flickering slow. Top Cat in the alleyway as they sat there all alone. He drove back up his driveway in his town and country car. His wife was cooking chicken with a baby in her arms. The smell of home-cooked dinner filled the air at home that night, screaming Officer Dibble in the TV's flickering light. Officer Dibble was the policeman character in Top Cat, wasn't he? Slumped in his favourite armchair, his face as grey as stone, his feet upon the table next to the chicken bones, he seemed to show no feelings, picking corn out from his teeth, policed down at the motel as the blood dried on the sheets. It's a very inconclusive story, really. You don't get to find out what happened. It's just a kind of, you know, again with Chris, it's that kind of slice of life approach. kind of reminds me of a Coen Brothers film almost. You know, there's no particular justice. It's just this kind of awful snapshot of something horrible happening. And it's just brilliant the way it's just married to this really upbeat, fun tune. Yeah, definitely brilliant. I saw them do it live. I'm fairly certain they did it in Lancaster in October '89. Don't know whether I've heard them doing it since. Other people might be able to tell me. I've not heard it the last few times I've seen them, but it's yet another great Squeeze album track, and I guess I'll be saying that a few more times as we get further into these videos. But anyway, let me know what you think. Melody Motel, I do think it's one of Chris and Glenn's best. I think they probably agree with that. So that'll do for now. What a great album Frank is, and we'll get to that at some point as well. Thanks for watching. Please do leave a comment, click to like the video if you did, and please do subscribe. That will help the channel's visibility. I'll see you in the next video.